Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jess and welcome back to Day Art Survival. This is a little bit of the big update review, but this one is kinda an update still. But apparently the game has been updated to version 727. Like basically a new patch for the version of the game, right? Just like any other game that it periodically gets updated with certain patches, right? However, there are some interesting things over here that I just now noticed, right? And one of them being the polar armor being nerfed. And this is actually very bad. Why? Because in my big update review, when this video will be released, when this video is released, actually, we have been in the part 2 of the big update review, right? However, I already recorded until the part 7, which will be out later, in the middle of October, right? And that also by that time, I believe there will be even more updates, right? Like the Halloween probably. I'm not entirely sure, but that's a possibility, right? So yeah, just a heads up that the next 5 parts will be in version 7.4, I think, or 7.3. And just kind of heads up basically that I have recorded that those videos since before October, like way before that. Actually, I recorded that in the middle or in the like the first 10 days, I think, just before the middle of September. So that's why you will see a lot of stuff that I played was or reviewed was from the old version basically. Well, it's still in the new version, new update, new big update, but it's the old patch basically. That's why. Um, so yeah, let's actually take a look at the complete list over here. This is in the Discord server. It's uploaded by one of the Discord moderator for this group. The Discord group, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, the first will be fix the bug with an empty window when the second door appears. So I was having this issue as well. So basically this is when you search for location, the next window will not be shown. So it's basically a blank, an empty screen, right? So you kind of have to go out of the place and then re-enter the building again so that you can see or enter the next door basically, which was kind of annoying at some part, but I'm glad that it's now fixed. Or is it? I'm not sure. I haven't really checked that yet. Added the ability to enter or exit the city by water. That's always nice, but I don't really see the case of use of this because once you enter the water area, if you're driving a vehicle that is like cars, or motorcycles, or like bikes, you cannot cross the water, right, using these vehicles. So I'm not really sure what's the use case of this specifically. um, Maybe if you're using boats, I guess. um, but then again, if you're using boat, then once you enter the city you cannot move, right? Because, well, yeah, obviously you cannot ride boat on land, right? That's not like basically that's for water, right? So yeah, I'm not really sure how this will affect this one, the edit the ability to enter or exit the city by water basically. Anyway, next will be removed research points from statistics. Okay, so that doesn't really matter, right? We already have the research points removed anyway. Now it's level based. It's used to unlock the crafting recipe, right? Now it's removed, but it's fine basically. Um, Next, reduce the minimum amount of energy to collect wood and ice. I haven't actually collected wood myself that much and ice as well. I do, but I never actually had the chance to have like zero energy basically. So I'm not sure. I don't think this matters a lot, at least for me. Anyway, but yeah, next will be fix a bug with the way back home quest hanging. I'm not sure because I already finished that quest, so there's that. Next will be added the ability to feed the raven and polar fox with dried meat and dried fish, which is really great. Now you can just feed those with dried meat and dried fish. Dried meat and dried fish, they don't have expiration time, so they don't basically expired, right? So you can just bring them at any time now, and you don't have to rely on cooking meat, right? Like, tough meat, fatty meat, or something like that. You cook it and then you feed it to your raven and polar fox. Now that's not the case, so this is a little bit of buff, so that's nice. Next will be Zapper Shuffle has been added for sale in Kiev. Okay, I'm not sure what's the use of this shuffle. I would just presume that this is just kind of similar as to the generic shuffle in general, I guess. So now it's added for sale. Actually, got all the NPC trade lists. So yeah, that one I did in the version 723. So therefore, this Zapper Shuffle will not appear there, but I guess for your information now, it is available in GIFs starting from now. Next will be the assembly scheme for PPS, and the specialist has been changed. Okay, PPS is the weapon. Um, it's not for end game players. The PPS is for newer players. I'm not sure how it will be changed. Either it will be eased for newer player to basically to help new players, right? Or even if it will be even more difficult, right? I'm not entirely sure, but I think this one will probably get eased, although I'm not entirely sure, right? Anyway, next will be added the ability to repair the Mosin sniper rifle from the specialist. Okay, nice. I'm not sure why that's not available in the first place, but now it's available. So Mosin sniper is basically the first sniper, I think, the first sniper weapon that you can get. So there is this motion, and then after that there is the SVT, if I remember correctly, and then after that there is obviously the SVD, and then the legendary one will be the Saipuha, right? Which is obtainable from the I think Omsk or Novo or Krasno. I'm not entirely sure, but you can craft that in the specialist in one of those NPCs. So yeah, I guess that's great. Mosin now you can prepare that for specialists. That's also a buff for newer players that's just basically started playing, right? The first sniper that you can get is basically Mosin, and that's now repairable at specialist. Next will be added the ability to sell snake meat to buyers. This is also great because recently I've been gathering lots of like animal carcass because I want to always have the stuff available already to be sold to the buyers, right? And snake meat used to not be able to be sold to the buyers. I'm not entirely sure why, but now that it is available, now it can be. I guess I can use that as well for sale, right? Um, so it's not just so that I can, so that I don't just waste them to nothing, right? For you, you probably can use that, to use to craft, to chop it down into minced meat, and then you probably can use that for dried meat, for your pet, raven, polar fox, wolf, or I think that's it, right? Little pumpkin don't really eat meat, I don't think. So yeah. Next will be the phrases of the opponents during the battle were returned. I'm not entirely sure what this means. I think what happened here is that sometimes when you fight the bandits, sometimes the bandits will, say something, right? Like, let's say, like, for example, they will say something like, "Don't move or I will shoot," right? Funny enough, I actually tried to not move during that text or line was said, and they still hit me or shoot me. So that kind of a little bit of bluff, right? Do not trust the bandits. Basically, if they told you to stay, or else they will shoot, do not stay. Basically, because they will shoot you anyway. So yeah, there you go. I'm not sure if this is that, but the phrase as in like sentences or saying, I guess, of the opponents during the battle were now returned. I think that's it, right? The next will be reduce the armor points of polar armor and reduce the damage from its ability. We will actually go into the game after this one. After we finish reading this, I will actually mention this one, the polar armor, as well as something else, I guess. Just like a quick recap, basically. And yeah, the power armor is now the berserk effect. It used to be like basically like your percent chance, your, I mean, not percent chance, but more like your percent HP, uh up to 100%, right? Now it's only 50% at maximum, so that got nerfed by half basically. So let's say the Saipuha will deal like 400 damage. So if you have the berserk used to, then it will give you like 800, right? Up to almost 800 damage. But now it got reduced by half for the bonus, so you can only get like 400 plus half of that. That is about 200, so that's 600 basically, right? So I will also take a look about that as well. The next will be the damage of the kitten spear, saber, flamethrower has been reduced. So this is a little bit of nerf. However, the damage from their effects has been increased. So kitten spear, I think this is the one that will give poison to the opponents. And then saber, I think I'm not entirely sure what saber does. I think it gives bleeding. I'm not entirely sure, but flamethrower, this is for fire, right? I actually don't have any of these weapons, so I'm not sure how this works, right? But the damage is now reduced. However, the effects has been increased. I would say this can be considered as a nerf because the damage from the effects, only happened on the opponent's turn, right? So basically let's say the burn, right? The burn from the flamethrower only affects the bandits during their turn. It means that you will not be able to get the, what is it, the extra points if you have the perk, if you let the bandits die to the fire, right? If you let the bandits die to the fire, then you cannot replenish your action points basically. That's why I would say it's kind of a nerf. If you kill them directly with the damage from the actual weapon, then you will replenish your action points instantly at that time, right? But since they died due to the effects, then they probably will not give you they will not give you the action points basically. So a little bit of nerf, but I guess maybe you'll have to see, but I'm not entirely sure anyway. Maybe in the future, right? Like I said, I already made the video until part 7, so that's like 5 more parts, right? Spread across like about, and I think the last one will be in 16th of October. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, for sure it will be next month, the middle of the next month, basically. Next will be change the blinding parameter from stun grenade to 2 turns. So this is a buff, right? However, the thing is that stun grenade is um, kinda rare. You can no longer buy this from any NPC, and the way to farm stun grenade is by looting now, as well as I think you can get them by searching the corpse of the bandits as well. So yeah, it's kind of expensive, but I'm glad that it got buffed, so that it has something unique, right? Because so far I don't think there is any item that will stun the opponents for more than 1 turn, but now it is available now, right? Stun for 2 turns. There you go. The next will be the broken BAV was dismantled for scrap. Okay, so I think what happened here is that sometimes you get the vehicle BAV, right? BAV is basically the tank that can be used on water, in water, as well as on land as well. So this is more like amphibian vehicle. You can use this in the water as well as on land. But the carrying weight or the carrying capacity is not that high, therefore it is not that great, right? You either want to be available, like fully used on land or in water, right? Either pick either one of those basically, because this one, the amphibian, this one doesn't have a lot of carrying capacity, but it's still a lot compared to any gasoline cars, I believe. But yeah, and the broken BIV, you can find this in any city basically, like at any road. And yeah, I'm sure you cannot actually disassemble that, but now you can for scrap. I guess there's that. Next will be fixed a bug in displaying character portraits in settlements. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what this means, but I guess there you go. That's just bug fixes. I guess. Next will be fix a visual bug with the display of glue when upgrading settlements. Um, okay, I'm not also entirely sure what about that because I already upgraded my settlements as well. Yes, we will actually continue the Pelas repair series, I think, or not. Maybe I will actually repair the Pelas in the big update review as well. But to get the materials, we will have to upgrade the specialist, right? To get the materials available. That's why. And I already upgraded that off cam as well. And I haven't noticed any of these bugs. So there you go. I guess there was, and now it got fixed. Anyway, next will be reduce the amount of resources for dismantling some buildings. Reduce the amount of resource for dismantling some buildings. What is buildings that can be dismantled? Oh, I see some buildings as in like if you have like I think let's say you have brick house, right? If you want to dismantle that, then the amount of resource you get will be reduced, right? Which is a little bit of nerf, but I guess it doesn't matter anyway. I would say that once you build a house or something, a base, something like that, just let them sit like that basically. Unless you're having some kind of like ADHD probably, and you don't want to see things a little bit messy, then you might want to dismantle that, right? But I would say that once you build your house or something, buildings, I would say just not dismantle that, just let them sit the way it is. I guess that would be fine. So yeah. Anyway, next would be increased sausage weight. Okay, that's a little bit nerf as well. I believe sausage is already heavy. Now it got increased again the weight, so that's even more heavier, right? Which is kind of bad, but okay, I guess. I'm not entirely sure as well. I personally not carrying any sausage in my inventory as well, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this will affect me personally. Maybe I want to use that, but I'm not sure. Next will be increase the chance to get tires when dismantling vehicles. Okay, so this is a little bit of buff. When you see broken vehicles, then you will have increased chance to get tires, which makes sense honestly because if you just let's say you found any cars, like let's say you are in a world of post-apocalyptic, right? And you found any vehicles, most likely the vehicle will have the tires, right? It's not like I mean it probably flat at some points, but like most of the time you're probably still gonna see that intact, right? Especially if the tires are good quality as well, right? So yeah, anyway, there's that, a little bit of buff. Next will be fix typos in texts. This one I think I found some. I'm not sure. I kind of forget, but I actually did found, but I kind of forget already. So yeah, I guess now it got fixed, which is alright. Because if you care so much about grammar, then it kind of bothers you, right? But for me, it doesn't matter. Especially since the developer is actually Russian, right? And they are not English is not their first language, just like me. So grammar errors always tolerable, right? As long as you kind of get the points of what they are trying to say, right? Let's say you want to say soap, right? The soap or that is used as the like with the washing powder as well, right? To make the leather, right? The soap probably like let's say I mean it's not having any typo, but let's say, right? Let's say it's called SAOP, right? Like SAOP instead of soap, right? But you kind of still get the points that oh yeah, that's just soap, right? It's a bit of typo. So yeah, there you go. Next will be fix crash on death at level 100. I never died. I actually died once, but I think the game kind of spared me once. Kind of like tutorial, right? Like, hey, you're about to die, but this time I kind of spared you, but next time you will die for sure. Basically, that's what it said. That's why I never actually died, right? I did once, and it's kind of stupid way to die as well. But I think I mentioned that as well in the next episode, I guess, or parts. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Next will be change craft schemes for homemade pistol, homemade double-barreled shotgun, homemade rifle, smelter, chemical reactor, oven, homemade machine gun, bellows, iron pipe, homemade machine gun. Oh, homemade machine gun got mentioned twice. Okay, here and here as well. That's kind of funny. Greenhouse, water purifier, brick house, homemade grenade launcher and its ammo, which is the homemade grenade rocket, I believe. But yeah, or homemade rocket, I think. But yeah, so they got changed. I'm not entirely sure. I kind of forgot already. Maybe I will, like a little bit of brief view, and maybe you guys can see the difference. Because I already made that video right in part one about all the schemes, I guess, or schematics. Then you can kind of compare that, right? Old versus new, basically. Yeah. Next will be reduced experience gain for building buildings. Okay. Yeah, basically like to construct buildings, right? The experience is now reduced. I mean, that doesn't matter anyway because you don't build a lot of house, right? Like, let's say you build again brick house, right? You only need one. I don't think you need more than one. So I don't think this matters at all. But I guess there's that a little bit of nerf, but I don't think it is the nerf that matters. But okay. Next will be fix the appearance of tasks on the water. Okay, so I have never had any quests or tasks that appear on water body, like literally in the water. So I cannot really relate to this, but I guess it's now there. I guess. Fix a bug in the quest. Bring a scientist. I'm not sure what the bug was. I have had this one before. I have done this like off cam as well. So at the time I didn't realize any bug at all. I guess there was, and now it's fixed. Which is always a great thing, right? Bug fixes. Next will be change the requirements for the blacksmithing quests. Requirement for blacksmith quest. I'm not sure what this is about. I guess there's that. Now the requirement got changed, I guess. I'm not sure if that will be like a little bit more easier for towards new players, or it will be even more difficult. I'm not entirely sure, but hopefully it will be at least if the end game players got nerfed, at least the newer players kind of got buffed, right? Which to make it balanced, right? So yeah, I hope this gets easier for those people that haven't finished this quest. Next will be fix the display of the one after another skill in battle. Okay, one after another. If I remember correctly, I think this one. Okay, so this one was basically the one if you. I think there's a food item that if you eat will give you this effect one after another. I believe this one was if you kill something, your damage will be increased, right? So yeah, apparently there is some kind of display bugs now. It display issue now it got fixed, which is always nice again, right? I never actually used that because I think the food itself is kind of expensive. That's why I haven't actually tried that myself. But I can only assume that it can be great sometimes, right? Especially against the battle against wasp, right? Or the gnats basically, because the gnats they have like all of the like the one that looks like in the alien movie, what is it called, the capsule pod, right? Or the like the baby pod, basically the baby alien pod, right? And if that got broken, a wasp will appear, right? So that's great because you can kill that and you can gain the extra damage, right? So that's always nice. um so yeah, anyway, next will be remove the display of some items in the rewards for completing the main quests. So what does this mean? Remove the display of some items in the rewards for completing the main quests. Okay. Oh, this is just for the main quests, right? I already finished. Therefore, I can no longer relate to this kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I hope it doesn't nerf the new players, but yeah. Next will be added the ability to view previous stages of tasks. Added the ability to view previous stages of tasks. Okay, so this is also for the main quests, I believe, right? Like let's say, like the way back home or the searching for truth. There are like more than 20 tasks, right, or quests. So I guess now you can kind of review back on the previous tasks that you already completed, which is always nice, right? um, Next will be change the position of the player when leaving the battle in quest battles. Change the position of the player when leaving the battle in quests battles. Okay, I guess the position got changed. I'm not sure how this will affect things, but I presume that before this version, when you leave a battle that is involved in some kind of quest battles, then you will be moved somewhere else, right? Like a few meters away, right? But now it's changed, probably like nearby. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe that's the case. Hopefully it is. Next will be remove the display of experience for tasks in settlements if the player has the maximum level. Okay, yeah, this also kind of, I guess like, I guess it's a minor change, like just display change. Um, because sometimes, yeah, like I'm level 100, right? Every time I go to the quests or the tasks and they have like, oh, they will give me for this amount of experience. Well, yeah, dude, I kind of don't need that anymore because I'm already maxed. But now it's great that it's there. However, I think if a player die, they will got reduced by one the level, so they will be at level 99 and they have to grind experience. I'm not entirely sure how this interacts with that as well. Hopefully, it doesn't create some kind of bugs because like at 100 you cannot see that. But if you die, you go back to level 99. And what happens if if the task still doesn't show, right? Doesn't show the experience that you will get, right? That will be bad, right? So hopefully that's not the case here. I hope someone else check on this one, so that just to make sure, right? So yeah. Next, the last two nurse treatment icons have been changed. Okay, just the nurse treatment icons, I guess. I believe it used to be like icon of like medicines, if I remember correctly. But yeah, now it's changed. I guess it doesn't really matter again. Like it's just changes that doesn't really affect anything, right? It's just for aesthetics basically. And the last one will be temporarily remove the chance to get the Gunner perk since version 723. Um, we'll actually also take a look at this one as well as to this is actually important one. You can no longer get gunner perk basically, and that is bad. And why? Because I will explain that after this one. But yeah, that's all the changes, I guess. We will check on the polar armor, and then we also take a look at sample of this. Probably I will take a look at the smelter and chemical reactor, and then after that I will also check on the this one, the counter perk as well. So those will be the three things that I will cover in this one, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that matters. Yeah, let's I will skim through this one more time and see. Okay, yeah, okay, those three things basically. Polar armor, schematics, I guess, chemical reactor, and smelter, and then the third one being the counter perk. And yeah, I will be right back. Okay, we are in the game now, and let's take a look. The first one will be the polar armor, this one over here. Durability 95%. Oh, actually, let's take a look from this menu so that I can, yeah, like so. Okay, repair 25%, still the same, I think. Yeah, this one's still 10 rubbers and then 12 leather as well. That's kind of the same. And then let's take a look at here. Now, berserk damage dealt now only plus 43%. Let's actually drop our HP even more lower. Let's apply some of these, and then let's eat the red mushroom. Just like that. Now we are at 9 HP, right? Let's go back to the polar armor for a sec. And yeah, it's now only 49%. So it got maxed or capped at 50% instead of 99%. So that's essentially 50% less than that, right? So the damage will be reduced by 50%, which is, I would say, that's a major nerf actually. But um, by the looks of things, actually, it was kinda overpowered already. So yeah, also the armor amount now it got dropped to 1651, I guess. Before this, I think it was like 2000 and more, I believe. Like the base armor will be 2000, and then with the extra perks as well, can get you up to 2200 or even 2250 basically. So that's a huge chunk of armor that got reduced. That was 600 for me. So that's about, I guess that's actually a lot, right? So that's like 25% reduced. Wow, that's actually a lot of armor getting nerfed. And I already made a video as well, part 6, I believe, about how to, beat the bandit base. And at that, in that video, I use polar armor as example. And that time I had the full damage, right? The 99%, as well as the thing as well, the armor, right? Which is 2200 now. It's 1600. I might have to redo that again, honestly, just to compare, the polar armor, just to, just to basically show the nerf of the polar armor, basically. Okay, so that's polar armor. Also the damage dealt. Let's take a look at Saipuha. It gives, let's say 500 damage, right? Back then in the old version before this patch, you will get basically extra 500, right? Like extra 100% essentially. I mean 99%. Let's just round out that up to 100% basically, and that gives you like 1,000 damage basically, right? Now the damage or the bonus damage got reduced by 50%. It means you will only get 250, right? So you will only deal 750 damage. That overall will be reduced by 25% basically, because 100% the actual base damage, and then 100% damage from bonus, right? Now the bonus got halved. It means you only deal 150%, right? And that's basically 25% less damage. And again, I might have to test this out, right, in the next video, or not next video, but more like the future part basically. Redo the bandit base as well with the nerfed polar armor. But yeah, that's one. And then the second one that I'm going to cover, but before that, I'm going to heal myself first so that this nasty bloody screen is not there and, kind of disrupt me, right? Because, visually, I don't really like that. Um, let's take a look at the schematics over here. Let's just take a quick look, right? Let's scroll down to the smelter and chemical reactor, basically. So this is the smelter. I honestly didn't remember what the recipe was, or the the crafting materials to make this. And yeah, maybe it needs blowtorch. I'm not entirely sure. I might have to recheck that back, right? So yeah, now this is the smelter, and then now this is the, not that one, this one, the chemical reactor as well. Yeah, I think this one, the blowtorch, probably is the new one, right? I think. But yeah, because this one, I believe I need the metal plate, which I mentioned, and then the fire brick as well that I also mentioned, and then the cement, which is like it makes sense, right? Because you use bricks, and then the pipes for this one, the pipes for the exhaust for the air, because if you want to burn something, you will need air as well, other than coal or fuel, and the sparking fire, right? You also need air. And then some coal. I think the amount of coal is still the same, but yeah, I think the new one is the blowtorch, honestly. So yeah, this is the chemical reactor as well. I believe the newer material that you need will be the blowtorch. But yeah, that's it. That's the second one, and then the third one will be the perks, right? So the perk that I'm going to cover, this one will be the gunner perks. And this is the one. Gunner AP needed to use grenade launcher -1, and you can no longer get this perk. And I will explain why this is actually bad, because let's say here, right, This is the handmade rocket launcher. um, it used three action points, right? And then the Saibuha, it needs two, right? So I think this one will be three because I have another perk that increase damage, but also increase the action points by one. And then this one also three, but because I have the gunner perk, now it only requires two action points, right? Because it got reduced by one. This one, right? It got reduced by -1. So let's actually take a quick fight with something that covers, yeah, let's say the looters, right? Although I kind of don't want to fight this because that's a lot of people. Okay, let's now use this one. I have this handmade rocket launcher over here, and I guess I will start battle. And as you can see over here, you get only two action points, right? Um, it was three as base weapon, but it got reduced by -1 because I have the perk, right? I don't think it's shown over here. I don't think. Yeah, it's not shown there, but yeah, it's supposed to be three, right? But now it's only two. But so yeah, there you go. I'm not trying to beat this one because I don't like it. I will try to exit this as quick as possible, I guess. Um, and the reason why this is actually important is, oh, actually maybe I should have used that, right? So because at starting point I have five action points, right? So I can do one of these sniper weapon, either the Saipuha or the PKM or the machine gun, and I still have two AP, right? And then I can use this grenade launcher. But now that you cannot get any gunner perk because it got removed, so what happened there will be that you can no longer gain this perk, right? So you can no longer reduce the action points by one. It means that you will be forced to have three action points for this one, as well as for the Saipuha and the PKM as well, right? So yeah, there you go. Which is a little bit of nerf, right? I think that's a major nerf because at you know in one way, in one situation or another, I think one action point will actually determine if you will die or not, because you know you will need three action point, but what if you only have two, right? You cannot use the weapons, therefore you cannot do anything. You cannot stun the opponents, and the opponents next turn will hit you and probably kill you, right? So that's bad. So yeah, there you go. That's all the three major changes, I guess. The first one being the polar armor nerf, and then so on and so on, right? But yeah, what's my opinion on this? Well, obviously, I guess this is for balance, right? Basically, I think what how the developers do right now is that if they see anything that is too good, they will nerf it, basically, right? And I've also said that as well, I believe, in the episode that I said, just use polar armor, right? Because it has high armor and then high damage as well. So, use that, right? But I believe the developer will nerf that as well. And here we go. Now we have the nerf. So yeah, there you go. I guess I also still have other things as well that are like a little bit overpowered, but I'm not sure if that will be nerfed. For now, I kind of don't see any. I think the one that stands out the most for me is that the fact that the auto battle, basically you can auto battle stuff with SVD, and the sniper over here with only one bullet for each enemy, and that's actually overpowered. And I guess after this will probably get nerfed as well, but I'm not sure about that. Most likely it will, but yeah. I think that'll be it for today's, I guess, like emergency patch for the version 727. Um, Fun fact, I actually just recorded the seventh episode, and I kind of didn't notice about that as well. Like I had like some kind of battle with the bandits, and I noticed that my damage was not high, right? So I was kind of wondering why my damage was not high, because the berserk only gives me like 43% or something, right? Instead of 80, 90%, right? So yeah, I thought that I have too much HP or health, but the fact is that the polar armor just got nerfed. So there you go, that's that. I think that'll be it for today's episode of The Art Survival. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed this kind of stuff, if you want more like update news, I will keep you in touch. Make sure to subscribe and like. So yeah, to support me as well, just to notify me that you guys actually enjoy this kind of stuff as well. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again, in the next episode of The Art Survival in part 3, I guess. I think it will be out like 2 days from now. So yeah, until then, stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you again very soon, and see ya.